everyone. Greetings from Chicago. My name is Adam Schilling. If you are here to learn more about Loyola University Chicago. I will be your host and presenter today. My name is Adam Schilling. I am an admissions counselor here in our undergraduate office. I work mainly with students coming from the East Coast, so New England, New Jersey, New York City, all those good places. If you're in one of those places, I'll be the one reading your application. I also work with some local Illinois schools here as well. But I am a proud Loyola alum. Did my undergraduate here from 2011 to 2015. I'm originally from Indiana, so Midwest born and raised. But and I'm also in graduate school right now as a full-time employee as well. So the fun never stops with Loyola education. My degrees are in secondary education and also history. Did a double major, but I came in undecided. So I will go through the presentation tonight. Should be about 20 minutes, half an hour, to give you all a little background, like a 101 on what makes Loyola a great school. And I'll be interjecting my little personal stories from my time as a student there, even though it was a long, long time ago. And hopefully can answer some of your questions about the university. So I don't want to take too much time here. I'm going to go ahead and start screen sharing. Let me see if this will work seamlessly. All right. Wow, look at that. Crazy. So I hope that everyone can see this and I'm not going too out of whack here, but if we're in like a matrix scenario, you know, it's just going to be great. It's just going to be fine. We're all going to enjoy it. There it is. Look at that. We love to see it. Okay, we're here for Loyola University Chicago. Let's go ahead and get started. We are a Jesuit Catholic institution. If you're not familiar, the Jesuits are an order of priests within the Catholic Church, founded by St. Ignatius of Loyola, where we get our name. Basically, for you as a student, what it boils down to is really what I consider two pillars. So the Jesuits are well known for their education, their dedication to education. There's 27 Jesuit universities and colleges here in the United States. There's even more across the world. So that's a big part of what we do. And we really train you in this Latin phrase, cura personalis, which is care for the whole person. So we want you to be not only an expert in your field, we want you to be a well-rounded person. So that can mean academic. It could both be personal. Through our core curriculum, we want you to get exposed to new ideas that are going to make you a well-rounded human being, adaptable in your career field. Second pillar is social justice. So this is a big part of what we do. We do try our best to strive for the ideals of social justice. And basically what that means for you as a student is taking what you're learning in the classroom, putting it into good use for the betterment of the community, both here in Chicago and around the world. So whether that's through study abroad, or some kind of outreach here in the city, we want you to immerse yourself in different backgrounds than you're familiar with and use what you're learning to be a little bit more open-minded, a little bit more worldly. Speaking of community, we are a mid-sized institution. We have just over 12,000 undergraduate students. We're really coming from all over the place. So I am from Indiana, like I said. But my best friends that I made at Loyola that I still have to this day are from Los Angeles, Miami, Florida, Texas, New York City, Detroit, Minneapolis, pretty much all over the place, all over the country, all over the world. So that was really nice as someone that didn't really think about that coming into the college search. You want to get those different backgrounds from different people. The mid-size is also nice. It gives you kind of a best of both worlds type of vibe. You'll meet new people every year, but there's really a tight-knit sense of community on campus. Also, we have a very diverse student body, so we're very welcoming. We really want to include everyone on our campus. So multicultural students from diverse backgrounds make up 41% of our student body. A lot of programs designed at inclusion and elevating their voices on campus. Same goes for we are a Catholic school. We have a very strong Catholic presence. If you are Catholic, this is an incredible place to come continue your faith. This chapel you're seeing right in the middle of the picture here is Madonna della Strada, where we have our masses and everything. And it's absolutely beautiful chapel. for our Catholic students. But we also are a home for all faiths. And this is true myself. I am not a Catholic. I felt incredibly welcomed here on campus and really honestly kind of gained a bigger respect for what the Jesuits do in the way they conduct themselves in their education. So whether it's, in our Damon Student Union, we have our Hall of Faiths with our Puja Prayer Room for Hindu students. We have the largest student mosque in Illinois. We have very active Hillel for Jewish students. So we really, regardless of who you are, where you're coming from, what your belief system is, we want you on this campus. We want you contributing. We want to hear your voice and be a part of this community for sure. The pictures you're seeing here are of our Lakeshore campus. This is home base. We have a couple here in Chicago, a couple campuses that is in Chicago, a couple across the world, but this is where the fun starts. This is where we have everything going on. We are here on the north side of Chicago. If you're not familiar with the city, it's a big city, but it's nice. Like I call it up and down. It's a very tall city, north-south. So we're here on the north side, pretty far on the north side, but still in the city. So it's nice because you're part of that urban environment, but you feel like there's a little bit space to breathe. This is important for me coming from a more like rural background. But you can see there's quads on campus, more of a traditional college campus type of vibe. Like when you're on Lakeshore campus, you'll you're in college. The buildings are new. Some of them are old. You've got the lake right there too. So it's just a really nice place to spend your freshman year and potentially your other years too, if you decide to live on campus all 4 years. In our Damon Student Union, I mentioned this is kind of the focal point of campus. It was built or finished when I was a senior, 2015, so it's pretty brand new. That has become the heart of campus where most students congregate. When I was a student, it was really this glass building in the middle here, right on the lake, the IC, which is still a good hangout, lots of studying happening there. But Damon has kind of become the center of campus because of how much space it provides for students. There's a rock climbing wall, there's a 3-floor gym, there's a movie theater, there's a food court. It's attached to our dining hall and arena where our D1 sports are played, all kinds of multi-purpose rooms. There's literally a room called the Damon Den where students just hang out. There's also events in there sometimes. So it's just a really unique space that allows students the opportunity to just casually hang out, maybe get some studying done, throw in events, go see a game, go see a movie, go to the gym, whatever it might be, you can do in Damon, which is awesome. We also have a couple colleges headquartered up here, the College of Arts and Sciences, Niehoff School of Nursing, the Institute of Environmental Sustainability, which is actually now the School of Environmental Sustainability, are all located up here on the Lakeshore campus. So if you're in one of those schools, one of those majors, you will be spending a lot of your time up here during your 4 years taking classes. So this is a more traditional college campus type of vibe. We also have what's called our Water Tower campus. This is in downtown Chicago. So very different vibe from the Lakeshore campus. This is just 3 blocks in downtown Chicago. It's right off Michigan Avenue in the Gold Coast neighborhood. So it does have everything a college campus can offer in terms of like classrooms. There's a couple dining options. There's a residence hall for upperclassmen, there's a bookstore, wellness center, all that good stuff that you might want in a college campus. But down here at the Water Tower campus, we have our Quinlan School of Business, our School of Comm, Education, and Social Work, as well as our law school headquartered. So primarily, if you're in the School of Business or School of Communication, a lot of your classes will be held down here, which is kind of a nice, unique thing for those students. And the reason for that is a lot of your professors, if not all of them, still work in the fields that they're teaching. So they're walking over from their jobs in the Loop down in downtown Chicago and like coming to teach you what's going on in those fields right now. So it gets you a little bit closer to the action. It's just kind of convenient and nice for internships in both of those fields. Chicago is a pretty big business and media hub. So we want you to be close to what's happening there, kind of going back to that immersion thing. We have a shuttle that runs between the 2 campuses every 15, 20 minutes, Monday through Friday when school is in session. So you just need your Loyola ID to get back and forth. Regardless of what your major is, you can take classes down here if you'd like. And that's just a nice way to like break up the day, break up the monotony of like not spending 4 years on the same campus. And that's a really cool opportunity for students to take advantage of. So just jump on the shuttle. Gets about 25, 30 minutes to get back and forth unless there's crazy traffic, which is not uncommon in Chicago for sure. But the other way you can go is through the trains and buses in Chicago. So the CTA is the Chicago Transit Authority, has all the trains and buses. The buses are pretty actually easy to navigate. The train line, if you're not familiar with Chicago, is color coded. So the big one is the red line. We have a stop on our Lakeshore campus called the Loyola stop. And then we have one down here called Chicago and State. So if you want to use that, you can. And part of your tuition pays for what's called your UPass, which is basically just like your unlimited metro card to like use those buses and trains in Chicago at will. So you could use them 1,000 times a day and it would be totally fine. And I really encourage you to do that, because when people ask me what my favorite part of being a student was, it's 100%. Yeah, the academics were great, my professors were awesome, but it was really just being in Chicago. I cannot emphasize enough how great it is to be an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, a 20, a 21-year-old growing up in this city, kind of forging your identity and absorbing everything it has to offer. So, there are opportunities out there in the city if you want internships, if you want to get into research too, if you're in a more science-based field. We have all those opportunities being in the city. If you want to be close to culture, we have like world famous museums. We have sports, we're a big sports town. So we're 10 stops away from Wrigley Field. If you're a diehard Cubs fan like I am, it's a dream. And a lot of times students get discounted tickets to explore that. But the big thing is, I would say, is utilizing that UPass to like explore the city. So for me, if you saw my video before I turned the screen on, I am a musician. I played in Chicago all 4 years of my undergrad and up through now. And it really just was so rewarding to just like be a part of a different scene in Chicago, like having that great Loyola community on campus, but then going out into the city and meeting people that go to different universities, like go to DePaul or Northwestern or UIC or Roosevelt. And then just meeting people that are like in different walks of life from different stages of their life. It was just kind of like very maturing, and it also just provided a sense of responsibility. And I can't emphasize that enough. So whatever your passion is, whatever you're interested in, you can find a community out there in Chicago to like help foster that. But not to say the academics aren't unimportant, because they surely are. And we are very strong academically here. These are all the schools that we have within the university. I'll quickly highlight each of them. The College of Arts and Science is the biggest by far. It has the most majors. The School of Business, the Quinlan School of Business, has been named the best undergraduate business school in Chicago the past 2 years. So very popular, very much a testament to our professors and what our graduates from that school are going on to do. The School of Communication has by far the coolest, I think one of the coolest facilities, with a full-fledged TV studio on the first floor. Like it's like a glass panel so you can see it from the sidewalk. There's a radio booth in there, a podcast booth, and editing floor. Our school newspaper, the Loyola Phoenix, is run out of there. So that's a really cool opportunity for students who want to get involved there. Nursing is very strong here. We have a direct entry nursing program, 7 clinicals by the time you graduate. You spend a sophomore year in our nursing sim lab working with dummies. It's really great. The School of Education, also very rigorous. One of my degrees in secondary ed from there. 1,200 plus hours in the classroom. When you graduate, you're licensed and ready to teach in Illinois. Social work as well. There's a 5-year program there to get a master's degree as well as a bachelor's degree. Save yourself a year of time and money. Those 3 right there are really big on like learning on your feet, doing what you're going to be doing in your career as a student. So you're not just going to be getting lectured at for 4 years before you get sent out into the field. The School of Environmental Sustainability is brand new. It was the Institute of Environmental Sustainability and offered a couple majors focused on that, but it is just now, as of like last week, the school, which is awesome. They really deserve that accolade because of a lot of the great stuff they've done on campus. The big one is their building is amazing. There's a greenhouse, there's an aquaponics farm that are all student run. Then there's also the biodiesel lab, which is like kind of the main attraction. So the biodiesel lab takes all the waste from the dining halls and whatever students want to donate from the residence halls on campus, like leftover food waste and cooking oil and things like that. And it makes it into fuel for our inter-campus shuttles. So that really cuts down on our carbon footprint. All those shuttles that run back and forth all day are running on clean, renewable energy. All the soap on campus is made with that same stuff. They make windshield wiper fluid, lip balm, like all kinds of crazy stuff. It's just great. Like that's all just student run in that lab. So if you have any interest in like sustainability efforts, it's a huge part of what we do on campus. And we look at that as like an extension of social justice as well. And then finally, the Parkinson School of Health Science and Public Health is also brand new. Actually, it was opened last year, very timely for what's going on in the world. So if what you've been seeing with the pandemic across the world and like the different government organizations' responses to it, that's public health. So if you're interested in what's going on there, public health is definitely the way to go. And we have a brand new major that can prepare you to go into that career as well. But the last thing I'll point out here is the numbers, the 26 and the average class size and the 14:1 student to teacher ratio. So 93% of our professors have PhDs or the highest degree in their field. You will, I would say, 99.9% certainty never be taught by a TA or a grad assistant. The only time you'll ever see them is in a lab or maybe helping lead a discussion in a seminar course if you're in a humanities major like history or English or something like that. Otherwise, your professors are teaching you. And because the class sizes are so small, you're going to get to know them really well. And that's going to be able to really empower you to go on and find an internship opportunity, a research opportunity with a professor, or a career path, in networking. That's really huge for us. So we just want students to be open and available to that. And the class size, the largest class you'll have is about 100 students, maybe in a freshman 101 class. After that, it's going to get smaller and smaller. My last year of education, I was one of 6 students working with one professor. And my last couple of history courses were like maybe 10, 11 students total. So really nice. You're just going to get a lot of individualized attention. Study abroad is huge here at Loyola Chicago. We do a lot of it. A third of our students go abroad at some point. I was one that didn't, and I sincerely regret it to this day, not being able to go abroad. But we do make it pretty accessible for you as a student. So you just need to be a sophomore. Once you've reached your sophomore year, you can go abroad for a semester at any point from there, regardless of major. So I really highly encourage you, if you do decide to come to Loyola, look into this, because this is just a great opportunity. So we make it very easy in a couple of ways. One, we have 2 international centers of our own. So we have them in Rome, the John Felice Rome Center, and we also have the Vietnam Center in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. So nice, different, kind of options in terms of destination. So those are Loyola-run programs, Loyola-run campuses, faculty that live and work there. Your courses transfer easily, your scholarships, your financial aid all transfer easily. If you look at the Rome Center, no classes on Fridays. You'll be able to do study trips with the professors or your students, all that good stuff. So that just makes it a really unique opportunity for you to go abroad. It feels like a home away from home. And we send a bunch of students abroad every semester. And particularly in Rome, it's just really easy to get around Europe. So you'll have the opportunity to explore Italy and explore the rest of the continent too. And then we also have programs or connections to programs that can get you connected pretty much wherever you want to go. I mean, I did have one friend that went to the Rome Center. I had another that went to Vietnam. I had another that went to Madrid, and then another that went to St. Petersburg, Russia. So regardless of where you want to go, we probably can get you to that country, to that city, with a program from a university that it's going to make credits and transferring super easy too. And then I mentioned this before, but a lot of your learning is on your feet. So we want you to be active participants in your education. As someone that studied education, I can definitely attest to the strength of that in terms of learning. So internships and research are huge here. A lot of times your internships can be embedded in your major, depending on what the major is. But there's always the opportunity to go get them at any point in your undergraduate career. You just walk into our career services and kind of sit down with them and talk with an advisor there. Or, like I said, just get to know your professor, and that can open some doors too. Research is the same way. A lot of times you can just get to know your professor and get connected with what they're working on, because if they're not in comm or business or something where they're already having a job, if they're in history or biology or neuroscience, they're actively criminology, they're in their fields researching as well. So you can get attached to that, or you can get funding for your own research, which is pretty cool as an undergraduate. And then outside of that, we want you to do something out in Chicago or in the world. So working in a women's shelter, doing a homeless outreach, teaching guitar at an after-school program at a high school or middle school here in Chicago. All of that can be a satisfied and engaged learning requirement of your core curriculum, because we just want you to go out there and apply what you're learning. Student life, super vibrant. I got to tell you, a lot of fun stuff is happening on campus. We have a very active student body, which does help the campus feel a little bit more alive. Close to 300 clubs, organizations, pretty much whatever you can think of, we have in terms of a club or organization. So if we don't, you can start it with just 4 other friends and a staff member, and you can start your own club, which we have a lot of here. D1 sports. So if you're interested in collegiate athletics, we do have a D1 athletic program. A lot of people might know us now from our men's Final Four run a couple years ago, 2018. That really put us on the map. And wow, what an experience that was to just go through that as a staff member at that point. But when I was a student, our men's volleyball team won back-to-back NCAA tournaments. They finished seventh. They were seventh in the country last year. So we have very strong volleyball and soccer as well. So your ID as a student gets you in free to any of those games. So I highly recommend you attend. Now more than ever, school spirit is probably at an all-time high, like frankly, way more than when I was a student. So that's something to check out. Club sports you can get involved in as well. Greek life is about 15% of our student population, so not huge, but definitely on presence on campus. And then I learned this earlier this week or last week. I didn't realize they kept track of this, but we have the best intramural sports in the country, bestcolleges.com. So I'll take a win where I can get one. That's pretty great. You know, if you want to get involved on campus and do some fun stuff in intramural sports, you can do that too. All right, I'm going to rehydrate here because hydration is important. All right. The application. Okay, so pretty straightforward with our application. Like, how do you get here? You can go directly to our website and apply with our free application there. Or you can put us on the Common App. We just joined the Common App this year. So if you're already doing that, then go ahead. Whatever is easier for you. We just need you to submit one application there. With the application, we need a high school transcript showing freshman through junior year and at least one letter of rec. And that can come from a teacher, professor, a counselor, or a mentor, you know, whatever it might be. If you can get 2 or 3, that's great, but at least one. That's all we need for the application to be considered complete. This year, because of the pandemic, we are test optional. So you will not have to submit ACT or SAT scores if you cannot get one. The only exception is nursing and engineering. If you'd like to do one of those or apply for one of those, then you need to submit a test score. But if you cannot get one because of COVID cancellations, just reach out to whoever your counselor is. We can work with you on that. Maybe take a look at your first semester senior year grades. Outside of that, the optional materials are resume and essay. You know, the Common App essay, you want to submit that, that's great. We also have our own essay that's really it's just 500 words and no prompt. So you know, I highly encourage you to do that. Any additional materials you send us can only help your application and thereby increasing your chances of both admission and merit scholarship, which I'll talk about in a second. And then the resume is super straightforward, but let your imagination run wild in the essay. I love reading those. There's some great ones that, you know, maybe provide context on like overcoming obstacles or tragedies in high school. And then other times, like people have sent like art portfolios, poems. There was one that was like a love letter to mustard that was super weird but hilarious. So just anything like that, like, you know, show us, like, give us an example of your voice. All of that is due December 1st. That is our big priority deadline to get all these materials in. So you've got plenty of time. Application is open right now. We'll start reading in a couple weeks, and we operate on rolling admission, so we don't have any early action or early decision or anything like that. So once we get your application, once we start reading, it should only take about a month or so to get you a decision back on that application. And then the numbers there, don't freak out too much. It's the middle 50%, so it's just a good indicator of like the range of where we're at. And again, test scores are optional, so you don't have to submit those. But we look at everything holistically, so really, really think about that when it comes to the application. And then that takes me to the financial side of it too, because this is a big deal. When you apply, you're automatically reviewed for a merit scholarship that's ranging anywhere from $17,000 to $25,000 per year. If you receive a merit scholarship, you will know on your decision letter, and that is yours all 4 years. Excuse me. You just have to keep a 2.0 GPA while you're here in order to keep that. But that's yours. You can take that, apply it year to year, which is great. And then there are additional scholarship opportunities available once you're accepted. So after you've been admitted, there will be a bunch that'll pop up in December and January. And these are going to be based on like major choice, leadership, you know, any kind of extracurricular interest or background. And the nice thing is you won't have to go like looking for them. They'll be available to, you'll be invited to apply for them if you're eligible. So we'll automatically kind of filter that for you. And then you can just click on the link there in your student portal and the application will pop up right for you. Usually they're like 1 to 2 short answer questions or maybe attaching a writing sample or something like that. So those will be due in like February and March. You'll have plenty of time to do them. That gives you a lot of opportunity to like weigh the financial side of the decision. And some of those, just to give you an idea, there's like tuition, there's half tuition education scholarship, there's accounting scholarships, there's one for STEM majors, women's leadership scholarships, there's theater scholarships, humanities, all kinds of stuff. So, you really should take advantage of those if you get the opportunity to apply. And then finally, the FAFSA is going to open up, I believe, Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's October 1st. So once October 1st rolls around, the FAFSA will open up and you will have the ability to apply for need-based aid through the federal government. Sit down with your family, send in that information, send it to the Department of Education. They'll send it back to us. And we will basically wrap up a financial aid package that might have grants on it that can come from the federal government, from us. If you're applying from within Illinois, there might be some state grants there as well. That's gift aid. Don't have to pay that back. Might be some student loans there, and then work study. If you want to get a job on campus, we have a ton in our office, like freshman ambassadors. I run a social media team. Tour guides are a big one. So all that good stuff you can get involved with on campus, but there's a lot more outside of that too. So our total cost of attendance is around $62,000, but 98% of our students get some form of financial aid or scholarship, and the average award is around $28,000. So no one is really paying that full thing out of pocket. The final thing I'll say is it's very important while you're starting to apply now to also look around and apply for additional scholarships from outside sources. We will stack any scholarship money that you can bring in from an external source. So make sure you do that, because the earlier you're applying for those, the better chance of getting them. And really that comes down to the value of the education. So the only number I really want to focus on here is this 98%, which I call the parent pleaser stat. That is the number of students that are getting a full-time job or going into graduate school or a PhD program immediately upon graduating or within 3 months. So it's not uncommon for juniors and seniors, regardless of major, to have job opportunities on the table when they graduate. So it's just a testament to the kind of education you're going to receive and the doorways that could be open for you. All right, that will do it for my Loyola spiel. I have my contact information here. Please feel free to take that down. Like I said, I work mostly with students coming from the East Coast and some here from Illinois, but I am more than happy to answer any questions at all you might have. So feel free to shoot me an email if you'd like, or definitely if you're from the East Coast, shoot me an email. I'll be the one reading your application. There's also an opportunity for you to talk directly with a current Loyola student. So you can email them at that address, or honestly, just shoot them a text at that number to get in touch with a current student. You can ask them more direct questions about what it's like to be a student there. Well, I will go ahead and stop my screen share and just say, in the meantime, thank you all very much for attending my presentation. I hope this was informative. I hope you got some good information about Loyola out of it, and maybe some of my experience as well. So please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help if you have any questions. We assign our counselors by states, and if you're in Illinois, by school. So you'll probably have an admissions counselor like me that'll be helping you through the application process. Never hesitate to shoot them an email or shoot me an email. We're always happy to answer any questions you might have. But in the meantime, I just want to thank everyone again for their time in this presentation. I'd also like to say and wish you all well, both in your senior, junior year, whatever you might be in. I know these are crazy times to be a student, especially in high school, but I just want to wish everyone well. Hope you have a safe rest of the week, and hope everyone stays well. Take care, y'all.